Hi, it's Grandma Ray. I love children, I love books, and I especially love reading books to children. In this video, I am reading and recommending Jonty Gentoo. This is The Adventures of a Penguin, and it was written and illustrated by Donaldson and Axel Scheffler. Here we go. I don't know if they both did both or if one did one and the other did the other. It does not tell me that. But here we go. There once was a penguin called Jonty Gentoo. He lived with his aunts in a pond at the zoo. His aunts told a tale of a land far away. And there, where the sun shines all night and all day, are thousands of penguins who slither and stroll on the snow and the ice all around the South Pole. Was it a story or could it be true? I'm going to go there, said Jonty Gentoo. Here we go. Looky there, he lives at the zoo with his aunts. The aunts were adoring. The keeper was kind, but Jonty Gentoo had escape on his mind. He longed for the snow and he dreamed of the pole. To reach it, he said, is my one dearest goal. His aunt said, grow up, eat your fish, and talk sense. But Jonty had noticed a gap in the fence. And one moonlit night, he squeezed his way through. It's time for adventure, said Jonty Gentoo. He's sneaking out. Oh, I don't know. Do you think he can get all the way to the South Pole? Johnny kept walking as day followed night. He saw lots of poles, but they didn't look right. A flagpole, a barge pole, a pole for a tent, but none of them looked like the pole his aunts meant. Then just as his feet felt as tired as could be, he came to a cliff and looked down at the sea. Bright and inviting, sparkling and blue, into the water dived Jonty Gentoo. Looky there. See, he found all kinds of poles, but then he found the sea. He swam through the ocean for week after week, flapping his flippers and filling his beak with cuttlefish, jellyfish, codfish, and krill as the water grew colder and then colder still. Well, it sounds like he's getting close because the South Pole would be really cold, wouldn't it? He started off in warm water and it's getting colder. Till one snowy day, as he came up for air, he couldn't help feeling, I'm just about there. And white frozen wilderness came into view. The land of the penguins, said Jonty Gentoo. But where were the penguins? And where was the pole? He waddled for weeks, but he met not a soul. Uh-oh. Well, I wonder where all the penguins are. Huh. I hope he finds them. Winter brought darkness, the sun went away, and Jonty felt colder and sadder each day. Matters grew worse when a huge bearded seal decided a penguin might make a good meal. Uh-oh. Well, that's not good. He needs to run from the seal, doesn't he? Oh, I hope he gets away. Till a white furry creature appeared and said, shoo! And the seal fled in terror from Jonty Gentoo. You think he was fleeing from Jonty Gentoo? I don't think so. And I think I see a little bit of a problem for Jonty Gentoo. Thank you, said Jonty. I did get a scare. My pleasure, replied the enormous white bear, and then added, how else may I help you today? Perhaps, Jonty said, you could tell me the way to the famous South Pole. But the polar bear said that Jonty had come to the North Pole instead. Though there wasn't a pole there as far as he knew. What terrible tidings, said Jonty Gentoo. I knew he was in trouble when I saw the white bear. A white bear like that is a polar bear. And those are at the North Pole, like that one right there. Those are at the North Pole. not at the South Pole. And penguins are at the South Pole, not at the North Pole. Winter went by, and when summer came round, a gray and white tern fluttered down to the ground. "Good heavens," she cried, "what a curious sight! You look like a penguin. But can that be right? I've never before seen a penguin up here. But at the South Pole, which I visit each year, are thousands of penguins exactly like you." "Can you show me the way there?" asked Jonty Gentoo. A tern is a seabird. And so he evidently, this particular bird is flying North Pole to South Pole and South Pole to North Pole. "Yes," said the tern, and she took to the air. So Jonty Gentoo said goodbye to the bear. Then the bird in the sea and the bird in the sky, one diving deep while the other flew high, traveled together through sunshine and storm for mile after mile till the waters grew warm. Well, that's kind of cool. The tern is in the air flying, and penguins can't fly, but they can sure swim fast. And so Jonty is swimming. There were swordfish that soared. There were blue whales that blew. "This is the life," declared Jonty Gentoo. Looky there. There's a swordfish, and there's a whale. They're both pretty good-sized fish. Well, whale's not really a fish. The blue whale is huge. But Jonty grew tired, and his flippers felt sore. He found it too hard to keep up anymore. "Then look," said the tern, who had spotted a boat. On board stood a man in a bright yellow coat. "Great Scott, it's a penguin," they heard the man say. "Hop in, little penguin, we're going your way." Jonty climbed in and made friends with the crew. "So now I'm a sailor," said Jonty Gentoo. Looky there. I have a yellow raincoat. I like my yellow raincoat. And he's going to ride on the ship to the South Pole. At last the boat landed, and there on the shore, black, white, and orange, stood penguins galore. Emperor penguins, majestic and tall. Adelie penguins, quite sweet, but too small. And then round a corner, he saw them. Uh-oh. See, there is the emperor penguin, it's nice and tall, and the Adelie penguin, which is small. But they don't look like Jonty, do they? Great news! A heartwarming huddle of gorgeous Gentoos. They trumpeted gladly, then stood in a queue and took it in turns to say, "How do you do?" to brave and adventurous Jonty Gentoo. So Gentoo is the name of the type of penguin that Jonty is. Well, that's interesting. And a queue is a line. They stood in line very nicely to wait their turn. And half a year later, the tern turned and flew back north to the bear, stopping off at the zoo to visit the ants, who said, "Ah," and then "ooh," when the tern told the story of Jonty Gentoo. So Jonty Gentoo, he found the other penguins, didn't he? Well, that's wonderful. I think that was a really fun book. I hope you did too. If your grown-ups want more information about it, they'll find that in the show notes. I hope you'll join me again sometime. Bye-bye.